Zara, let me know when to start, okay?
You can. You're not finished. You will be finished.
I can't hear you. Can you text me? Good morning, wonderful audiences. Welcome to the H1B Fiscal Year 2025 public debate with Immigration and Jobs Talk Show, where we are diving deep into the complexities of the new beneficiary-centric registration process. I'm your host, Rajni Bharara, and I'm thrilled to have each and every one of you here with us today. Now, let me set the stage for what's about to unfold. Over the next 2.5 hours, we'll be unraveling the intricacies of the H1B landscape, exploring the latest updates, filing requirements, and strategies for approval. But here's the kicker. We are not doing it alone. Oh, yes, we have got three legal maestros waiting in the wings to guide us through this journey. First up, we'll be graced by the expertise of attorney Prashanthi Reddy. She'll be leading us through the first leg of our debate, sharing light on the beneficiary-centric registration process and answering all your burning questions. But hey, the fun doesn't stop there. At 10:50, we'll be joined by none other than attorney Chand Parvataneni, who will be sharing his invaluable insights into the filing requirements and approval strategies. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, at 11:40, we'll welcome Uma Mantravadi to the show to wrap things up with updates on selection and future predictions. Now, I'll be your guide through the first part of our journey until 11:15. After that, my esteemed colleague Nipasa Pradhan will seamlessly take over the reins and keep the conversation flowing. But here's the deal, folks. This isn't just a spectator sport. We want to hear from you. So turn those cameras on, get those questions ready, and let's make this debate one for the ages. Together, we'll navigate the twists and turns of the H1B landscape and emerge with a deeper understanding of what lies ahead. Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty of H1B visas, let me just say a massive thank you to each and every one of you who joined us here today. We put out the call, we asked you to register, and guess what? We hit the jackpot with 100 plus registrations. Wow, right? But hey, don't think you are off the hook just yet. We have got a little request for you. You see, this isn't just a one-way street. We want to see those lovely faces of yours, hear those brilliant minds at work. So here's the deal. If you have got a question, a burning question in your brain, if you've got a thought you can't shake, don't be shy. Turn those cameras on, folks, and ask your questions from the attorneys. So let's make it happen, people. Cameras on, questions at the ready, and let's get this debate started with a bang. So, Prashanthi, are you all ready to take all the questions from the audiences and also from us?
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Thank you so much. Well, Prashanthi, before I ask our lovely audiences to, to turn their cameras on, and also audiences, I would like to tell you that please raise your hands if you want to ask any question. You please raise your hands. Our controller is going to tell us that this person is raising their hand, and then we'll, pick and choose. But before Prashanthi, we pick a viewer, I would like to know from you that the H1B season is going on, right? But there's one burning question on everyone's mind. Has the USCIS already released all the results for the H1B lottery, or can hopeful applicants anticipate additional rounds of results to trickle in? What's your take on this?
So yes, they have, for this particular lottery, they have released all the results as of, I think the last batch came in over the weekend, some over Saturday, and I think a few people. We got a huge chunk of cases that were approved on Saturday, and some people got cases approved on Sunday as well. So as of April 1st, the lottery is now closed. It's done. So because people have to start filing H1B petitions as of April 1st. So that's how
Okay.
it usually works. They close the lottery before April 1st because April 1st is the first day that you can start filing that H1B petition. Now, once that happens, you have 90 days to file. So they'll wait for 90 days to see, if the all the cap numbers have been used, and if they have been used, then obviously they're not going to have another lottery. But if they are not used, then it's possible that they will have another lottery. They will let us know after June, so July, August, September, sometime around that time frame. They'll let us know if they're going to have another lottery. If they do, they may pick a few more people from the registrations that have already happened. Remember, it's not new registrations; it's the registrations that have already been put in. From that, they'll choose more people. And again, you'll get 90 days from that date, the date that they announced, to file the H1B petition. So this could well go into next year as well. But let's see what happens. It's too soon to tell.
Okay, but there must be a lot of people who must be texting you, calling you, the ones who are expecting that they will get selected, and the ones who didn't get selected, and the disappointed ones. So, any messages, any message for those people?
It's what can you say, right? It's very disappointing to tell them that they're not selected. And again, we're happy to say when it's selected and give them the good news. But we have had a selection rate of about 30%, which is pretty good. Some have had only 20% selection rate, so we're quite happy. In fact, some clients have had more than a 30% selection rate, but overall it's been about 30%. So I would say about 350 to 400,000 people might have filed because they always select more people than they have availability. So even though they only have 85,000 numbers, they'll usually select about 100,000 people. So that's why I'm saying it must be around 300 people who registered, 300,000 people who registered. The reason they select more people is because, not everyone who registers and gets picked actually files the H1. So they account for those people who don't file as well. So for the people who were selected, good news, congratulations, and get ready to file that H1. Don't wait until the last moment. Please file ASAP, because if there's some issue, something goes wrong, your case comes back. If it comes back within the 90 days period, you can refile. If you file in the last moment and it doesn't come back, it comes back after the 90 days period, you're out of luck for that entire year. You've lost your registration, so you don't want that to happen, because this is a lottery, right? It's truly a lottery. So you don't want to, fight with your chances again next year. So for those people who have not been selected, hold on. There might be another lottery. So let's wait and see what happens. And if not, then you'll have to try your luck again next year. If there is a 30% pick rate, then there is a chance that you'll be picked next year, just based on statistics. So let's see. And for those who don't get picked, there are always alternatives also, Rajni. They can look into other forms of work visas, the H4EAD, OPT, CPT. There's so many, L1A, L1B.
Yeah.
There are other kinds of work visas which don't have caps associated with them. So you can always try for those.
Okay, because there must be a lot of people who don't know about OPT, CPT, and if you can please, not too much in detail, but if you can just give a brief about these work visas.
So TN is something that is available for people from Canada. It's similar to the H1. It's based on, there's a schedule, a list of jobs and what their qualifications are, but you have to be a Canadian national for that. There's another one for Australian nationals, which is E3, which is similar to the H1. People who have a specialty occupation job requiring a bachelor's degree qualify for that. Again, no cap. There is if you're presently a student and if you're going to school full time, you can apply for curricular practical training and work and study at the same time. If you've completed your education or you're going to complete your education, then if you have done a bachelor's or a master's degree, then you can avail of that 1 year of optional practical training after your degree is completed. And if you're studying in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and math, then you get 2 years of additional STEM OPT. And L1A is intra-company transferee, where your employer is transferring you from, say, your company in India to the company in the US as a multinational executive or a manager. So if you qualify, or specialized occupation, so if you qualify for any of these, you could most probably come on an L1. And the L1A has advantages over a H1 because it allows you to file your green card in EB1, which is great. EB1 is the best possible course to go when it comes to the green card. So yes, there are other opportunities.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prashanti. And guys, if you have any question that you would like to ask from Prashanti, please raise your hands. Don't feel shy. I mean, nobody's going to judge you here because Prashanti is here to answer to your questions. So don't be shy. Raise your hands. We are going to pick you and we'll allow you to, to ask your question. So I saw somebody raising their hand. Can my team tell me who that person was? I think somebody has a question for Prashanti.
Yeah, Rajini, I raised my hand and
Okay, yeah. Hi, Rupesh.
yeah. So I have a question. Hi, Rajini.
Hi. How are you?
And yeah, I am really great. Okay. Prashanti, my question that my H1, 6 years H1B is going to expire in Feb 25, and my perm already filled on 22nd Jan this year. So can I get the approval till that time? And if not, so can you please let me know the options for me?
So if you've already filed your perm in January, you might. But even if you don't, since the perm is filed 1 year before the expiry of your H1, when your H1 renewal has to happen, you can get an extension for 1 year at the very least. So if your I-140 gets approved, meaning that the labor has to be approved, that takes about 6 to 8 months. And I-140, you can do premium processing, so that can take as less as 30 days. So if that happens, then it's possible that you will have an I-140 approved by the time your H1 the time comes for your H1 extension, and then you can get a 3 years extension on your H1. So in the very least, a 1 year extension, since your perm has already been filed 365 days before the expiry of your H1. And at the very best, you get a 3 years extension. So either way, you're fine. You're safe, I think. You did a good job, filing at least 1 year before.
Okay, thank you,
Great.
Prashanti. It can help.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Rupesh, for joining this session. Thank you so much for registering yourself into the session. So Rupesh, if you please allow me to ask, where have you joined this session from?
From LinkedIn, through LinkedIn, I just saw the link there and then I registered on the link and then just joined. And it can help us about that kind of session, that it can help not for the person with a particular question, but also for the others, like who can be face that kind of issues in the futures.
Right, but I just wanted to know your location. Like, are you at your home and what place, if you can tell?
Yeah, I'm at my home and their location is New Jersey. I'm from the New Jersey.
Oh, you're from New Jersey. And which field do you work in?
That is the Java development I am working. And the IT field, I'm working as a Java developer.
Oh, okay. So you work in IT. So then you are the one who we call if we don't figure out, if we can't figure out if we have to turn on the computer or turn it off, right?
Yes, sure.
So you are that person. So thank you, Rupesh. And since how long have you been following Immigration and Jobs Talk Show?
Maybe around a year that I'm following.
Around a year. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Rupesh. Well, continue following Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. I hope you are, enjoying our content. And now a lot of people are also raising their hands. So I think Ravi wants to ask a question, right? Ravi, can we have Ravi on screen?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Ravi, if you don't mind, can you please turn on your camera?
Okay. Okay. Can you give me some time? I will turn on the video. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How
you
how
can,
much time you'd require to turn on the video?
I think 10 minutes, 5 to
10
10 minutes.
minutes. Okay, you don't have to put makeup or anything. Don't worry. It's not a, we are not doing a fashion contest if you're thinking like that.
No,
We
no,
can,
no.
right away turn it on. But anyways, we'll give you time. That's okay.
No, I have my
So,
kid there. Okay. So that will make some noise. She will
no,
make some
that's
noise.
okay. That's okay. Okay,
Mm.
Ravi, after Ravi, let's move on to Ravi. You take your time till the time Ravi turns on his camera. Let's move on to our next viewer. So the next viewer that we have is who would like to ask their question, because 40 people have joined us, till now. So is there anyone that would like to ask a question? I can see Pani Kishore. Pani Kishore has raised their hand. So can we have,
Hi.
I hope I'm taking the name right.
Yeah, right, sir.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. Actually, my question is like I'm actually basically from a non-IT background.
Okay.
So
So you seem sad about it, that you are from non-IT. Are you sad about are you
not
sad about the fact
actually,
that you're from non-IT?
it's not. I'm not sad. Actually, now I joined. Actually, joined an IT company. I worked as a business analyst in the COVID before COVID period. So
Okay.
and in the COVID period, lost my job and again went into this construction, my actual domain. And now I'm
Uh-huh.
back with as a BA in the same company. So just this is the first time I'm just applied for this H1. So luckily my application got picked up, and now actually I'm not actually clueless like what is the next step. So what are the documents I need? I need to know this, or if you can share me any link to my email ID so that I can go through all the documents.
Yeah, good question, Funny. I think that will be that question will be very useful for a lot of other people who are in the same predicament that you're in.
Other few questions also, like what are
Yeah,
the
let's.
opportunities if I'm into non-IT and see IT is always there, but other than IT, like non-IT, like in the construction area, or like infrastructure area, like building the roads, building dams, these kind of jobs, if you have, or is it only that I need to move into IT sector?
From the immigration point of view, you can be in any sector.
Okay.
It doesn't matter which sector you're in. A H1 is a H1. If you qualify, and you can file. So the requirements are the same for any sector, right? So now you have to look and see. There's some jobs in the IT sector that don't qualify for a H1.
Okay.
So it really depends on your job, whether it requires a bachelor's degree in a specific field. That's the definition of specialty occupation. And those are the kind of jobs that qualify for a H1. So anyone who has a job that requires a bachelor's in a specific field, and obviously you have to be able to document that, will be able to successfully file a H1. So now that you're in construction, we have a lot of clients in construction, and we file various positions for them. A lot of them are civil engineers, and they could be estimators. You could be project managers. But if you are, what is your job? You said business analyst?
I'm a business analyst into this e-commerce segment.
So what is so it depends on what your qualifications are. Do you qualify
I'm an
to
MBA.
an MBA in what?
MBA in marketing and marketing.
So my suggestion to you would be to file your H1 if your job description suits it, because not every job qualifies. So a business analyst with an MBA in marketing may not necessarily qualify for a specialty occupation. You can try, but it's kind of on the fence. So because whenever so for example, if you say the business analyst requirement is that of a business administration degree, just a regular business administration degree, it doesn't qualify because the job is not specific. It has to be a specific, the degree is not specific. So the degree requirement should be specific, meaning a bachelor's degree in marketing, say, or a bachelor's degree in not engineering, but chemical engineering or civil engineering, or a bachelor's degree in computer science. So it has to be specific. So a business administration degree doesn't really require, a business administration job doesn't really require a specific degree. You could be just an MBA. So I would suggest that if your duties, again, we have to look into your duties and see what it is, and you definitely need an attorney to help you. Your employer needs an attorney to help them file their case. But a market research analyst might be a possibility for you since you have MBA in marketing. As long as your employer requires that kind of a job, that is definitely one possibility that you might get an approval in. So with reference to what documents are needed, you have to file your H1 within the 90 days. So you need to submit all the petition copy, the I-129 petition, that your attorney will do. But from your side, we would need, what is your present status, immigration status?
I'm from India. I'm in Hyderabad.
Oh, you're in India right now. Are you
Yes.
from India right now? You're
Yes.
speaking from India? Okay.
Yes.
So then we just need your passport copy and degree copies, really. The employer will ask you for the passport and degree copies and transcripts, and then we'll have to get an evaluation done.
Okay.
And then we'd need other documentation from the employer just to see that they're doing business and what the volume of business is, perhaps their tax returns, their office copy of their lease, bank statement, etc., some documents from them. And then, a petition can be filed after looking at deciding on the, job description and the job title. The first step is to file an LCA, which is a labor condition application.
Okay.
And that usually takes 5 to 7 business days. Once that's filed with the Labor Department, then we proceed, after we get that approval, we proceed with filing a I-129 petition.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Prashanti. Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kishore. You were taking notes. So people, I mean, that seems, like an attentive student. Kishore was taking notes. So if you have your question and Prashanti is suggesting something to you, so you better take notes because, it will help you in your application and also in the future. And now, Prashanti, before we move into our next viewer and before we take up our next viewer, we actually are also getting live chat questions on YouTube. So I would like to, ask my question. This viewer called Zahan Panchwani has posted their question on YouTube, and he wants to know if I can ask my team to please share the screen, if you can also show it, side by side, so that just in case Prashanti wants to see it or read it. But I would like to, read it. Prashanti here. So Zahan says, I came to the USA on an F1 visa and am now on an H1B visa through a non-profit organization. I'm planning to visit India. Am I eligible for interview waiver for my H1B visa stamp, or do I have to go for in-person H1B visa stamping? Just FYI, my home country is India.
You might be eligible for, since you previously got an F1 visa, you might be eligible for a visa waiver. But again, that is for the consulate to decide. They decide on it on a case-by-case basis. It's not decided at... Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Actually, my team is trying to share the screen just to show the comment. So that's why you are able to see me on the screen. I'm so sorry about that. You can go ahead with your answer.
Yeah. So it's decided on a case-by-case basis, but in most instances, they might waive your interview, and you might just have to go to the Dropbox and put your application in the Dropbox, and you'll hear back from them in about a month or so. So nowadays, a lot of cases, the interview is being waived simply because they are trying to, they are backlogged. Since COVID, the consulate has been backlogged, and especially in the Indian consulate, there's a heavy backlog. So they're making use of that interview waiver process, which has been extended now. That interview waiver rule has been extended indefinitely, which is great. Earlier, it was being extended every year. Now it's been indefinite. So all of you out there can expect to have an interview waived. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not a good thing. If you get your interview waived, they don't have the opportunity to ask additional questions, and they might just put you into administrative processing, which happens in some cases. But in the majority of the cases, it is a good thing, and most interviews are being waived, and they are able to, you still have to go out of the country, you still have to put in your passport in the Dropbox, but most cases are getting approved in about 2 weeks is the processing time if it doesn't go into admin processing. So yeah, there's a good chance that your interview will be waived. Again, it depends on a case-by-case basis. They can call in anyone they want to, but in general, they are waiving it.
Okay. And we also have one more question here. I mean, we have too many, but I would like to, read out one more question. So the person says, hi, recently there are some news on OPT letters from fraudulent companies. How to choose a legitimate company? Any specific info needed to be included on the letter? What do you have to say?
How to choose a legitimate company? We can't go and do detective work to see if it's legitimate or not. Unfortunately, with the way things are now with remote people working remote, you're most probably not even visiting or meeting your employer or visiting the office. So that's why it's hard to figure out who is fraudulent and who is not. Yes, a lot of companies are giving letters, but I think if you are a person taking such a letter, you would know, because those employers are charging money to give those letters, and those employers then are not providing any work. So that is an indication that it is a fraudulent company. So you would know.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Prashanti, for answering these questions. Now we would like to ask our viewers to please raise their hands. Okay, Varun is here. Varun wants to, ask a question. So can we please have Varun on the screen?
Hey, good morning, Rajni, and good morning, Prashant.
Hi, Varun. Good morning.
Good morning.
And first of all, I'd like to thank you and thank your team for this wonderful session. I've been following this streaming, I think, all your videos from past couple of months, and it's been very educative. So thank you. My question for Prashanti is that my passport and my H1B is going to expire in July of this year, and I have been planning to visit India in next month and possibly come back on the same month. So is it okay for me to travel to India with less validity on the passport, or should I take any precaution, or if I can get any advice on that side, because I'm not sure if I may not have a much validity on my passport, will there be any immigration issues or anything like that? So if I can get any advice on that, what should I do?
Yes, generally they say that you should have a validity of 6 months when you're traveling.
Yeah.
This is also with reference to Indian immigration in India. So I would suggest that you try and expedite. I know you don't have much time. April, so it's June, right? You're traveling in June. So I suggest you try to get at least an emergency visa, an emergency passport for 6 months. They give out emergency passports if you have to travel, or apply for an extension, ASAP. Usually they say that you need 6 months validity to travel. And I suggest that they may still allow you into the country, but sometimes they might make an issue, especially if it's very close to expiry and you hardly have a month.
Can I say something?
Hello? Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
of course.
Yeah,
Funny,
hi.
go ahead.
So, Varun, like you can apply it in a Tatkal process that will take only just 1 to 2 days.
Okay.
Because recently I have renewed my passport. So
Mhm.
after expired after 2 years, so I have applied for a Tatkal passport, and they gave it me in the next day itself.
That's great. Great to hear
Yeah.
that they have that kind of a service.
Yes.
Okay. So
And
should I
charge
be
it to 3,500 rupees.
so should I be applying for this Tatkal facility when I am in India, or can I apply from
No, here in the US. You're doing it in the
Anyway,
US.
see, that is anywhere you can apply if you have that facility in US also.
Go to the VSF. You know, those are the people that do extend passports. They're consultants that are used by the Indian government.
You can go
And
into directly passport website, Indian passport website, and you can apply for yourself also.
Okay.
Yeah, first you check on that.
Of course.
Wow, looks like, people are not just worried about their own problem or situation. People are also now, joining in giving suggestions to others. So thank you so much, Pani, for that. And Prashanti, are you also enjoying that, the
yeah, absolutely,
audiences are
because
giving suggestions to the others?
absolutely, I'm learning as well in this session. So that's great.
No. Yeah, really,
Amazing.
that was helpful.
Yeah.
So,
Any other
Varun,
question, Varun?
No, I think that was my biggest worry at this moment.
The passport, Indian
Yeah, the
passport, right?
passport, since it is
I
expiring.
think you should go look into that. Yeah.
Recently, my niece, he also applied for the same from US only. So he
Okay.
also did immediately within a few days. So you will be having an inquiry in India at your hometown. So why you are applying for a Tatkal passport, and they will be sending some police officials, and you will get your passport. That's all.
Okay.
Great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Funny, it looks like you should soon also try to become an attorney yourself. So thank you so much for that. But we have the expert here. So Prashanti, anything else that you would like to suggest, Varun?
No, I think we should just go to the next caller so we can.
Okay. All right.
I
Thank
know
you so
that
much.
so many people who have their hands raised, so I just want to make sure we
Right.
get
But
to everyone.
before we go, Varun, so which field do you work in? One last question to you.
So basically, I'm from IT domain. I'm working as a Power BI developer. So it's been
Oh, you are from the IT too. Then
Yeah.
again, you are the one, who we should blame when our computers decide to have their own mind, right?
But that is a completely different domain from
I know.
IT. Of course, yeah, I could be helping.
For a lay person, that's all we think about, Varun. We
Yeah.
think about, is our laptop working or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Not every IT guy is going to
I
say
know,
that.
into networking and
Oh,
system
okay.
knowledge.
Well, then I should have more knowledge. This is what you're suggesting, right?
Absolutely, Rajni.
Anyways, thank you so much, Varun. Thank you so much for asking the question and joining the session. Now
Thank
let's
you.
quickly move on to our next viewer. So I think Dilton is here who wants to ask a question. Can we have Dilton on the screen, please? A lot of people have joined us, so we are really, I'm sure my team is finding it difficult to find the particular person to turn their camera on and to allow them to, unmute them. But okay, Prashanti, I think my team will take some time to turn on their camera and unmute them. But before we, okay, so.
Hi, Rajni.
Okay, Dilton is here. Hi, Dilton.
Hey,
How are you?
Rajni. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much for your informative sessions. So everything is very informative. Thank you so much for that first. And I have a quick question for Prashanti. I have an H1B visa stamp valid until September 2025. And I'm planning to travel to India around July, this year, July, and I need to get back again. But I am in a verge of losing the project, and wanted to know whether if I can come back to US without having a project and an active payroll. My employer is ready to. I am discussing with my employer to make them run a payroll during that time. But yeah, so I wanted to see the options there, so that it will be great for me to decide.
Right, that's a great question. So, and because it's very real world and a lot of people go through the same issues that you go through, right? If you're on a
Right.
H1. So, excuse me. So, with reference to that question, as long as you're on the payroll of the company, as long as you are an employee of that company, I understand in the consulting scenario that sometimes you have a project, sometimes you're off project and you're benched. Now, USCIS at the port of entry, they don't usually ask that question. So they, at the most, they will want to know whether you're presently working for that employer, and you are. And they might want to know what work you're doing, and you could just say that as long as you're reporting, remember, to work, you are doing work. So you could just say that you're working as a software engineer or whatever it is your H1 has been, filed as, and you are working. What is your work location? You're working as per the LCA. Is it a remote position?
Yes.
As per
It's
your
a remote.
LCA.
It's
So
a remote.
you can say all these things without lying and without violating USCIS rules, because you don't want to lie, right? So without lying and without giving out only as much information as they're asking for, right? Don't tell them your whole history, geography, your life story. They don't want to know that, right? So as long as you are an active employee, you are reporting to work, you're available for work, that's up to the employer what work they give you or they don't give you. You are working, so you are maintaining your H1B status, right? So as long as you, and USCIS also has recently verified that if someone has to file an extension during that time when they're on bench, and if such a question should arise as to where they're working, sometimes, especially when people sometimes file amendments when a person is benched to make it into a part-time employment so that they can, they have to pay, their liability then becomes less. And at that time, USCIS might ask, where's the PO, where's the contract? So in those instances, USCIS has told their officers to look at this on a case-by-case basis and not just deny the case because the person is on the bench, but look at it to see, why they're on the bench, whether they think that the employer has future work available for the employee or not. So it's not a simple black and white that like USCIS, it all is based on USCIS's interpretation, and they are being much more liberal with that interpretation right now. But now we are actually talking about CBP, we're not talking about USCIS. So I think it's sufficient to just give them as much information as is needed, and you are on the payroll and you should be okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prashanti. It's great to know that, yeah. So I can travel good, I guess.
Yes, you're welcome.
Great. So thank you so much, Dilton, for asking your question, and thank you so much for your time. I see Ali Razak is here, and Ali has raised his hand. So can we have Ali on the screen?
I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, ma'am Prashanti. Thank you for this informative session. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, my first question is, so I have been working with a small company in the US remotely from Pakistan. And it's been like 2-3 years. My engagement with them is more like a freelancer. Like they are not filing any W-2 or 1099 form on my behalf. So this year, luckily, my H1B got selected. Now the one issue I am facing is my bachelor's is I have done engineering in petroleum engineering. It's a 4-year engineering course with a specialization in petroleum. But about 5 years ago, I decided to just learn myself, and I started learning more IT stuff. And now right now, I'm working as a full-time blockchain developer. So my question is, I know it will be specialty occupation. Your education should be relevant to the job offer. But right now, my education is related to engineering. But from past 5 years, I've been working in IT sector. So is there be a problem, or is it fine?
It's fine because there's an alternative. You can get your work experience evaluated to be equivalent to an IT degree. So what they'll do is the evaluators, they will take 3 years of work experience and turn that to 1 year of college in IT. So when they add your existing engineering degree to the 1 year of IT experience, to the 3 years of IT experience, they can equate it to a bachelor's degree in computer science or information systems.
Okay, so here, as I told you, my experience is more like a freelancer. I'm not on in their papers, although
So
they
you
have.
need, that's the thing, you need a work experience letter from an employer saying that you worked for them for at least 3 years. So if you're freelancing, then I don't know how you're doing that and what proof then you can get. It's difficult to get proof then that you're freelancing. Usually they look for experience letters. You know, the evaluators will look for an experience letter because anyone can then say that I'm a freelancer and I've been working for 10 years, right? So that's why USCIS won't, so that's why USCIS won't accept that because they're looking for more concrete.
I do have the all the salary slips from last 3 years with my current employer I've been working with. So I
that's
guess
good then. Yeah, that's good. So that's an experience letter then. You get an experience letter from your current employer then.
Okay. One last question. So is there any minimum wage limit on H1B? Like that employer?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So you have to go to the Department of Labor website, check what is the wage. There are 4 levels of wages that are given. You should, if you are a person with experience already, most probably they have to choose level 2. And so, yeah, there is, and it's different based on the job title and based on the work site. So you have to go to the job site is FLCA data. So go to that FLCA data .com, I think, or .gov. I don't know. Try both. And go to that website and then put in the county that you are going to be living in or working in, or both, and put in the job title, and you can see your wage, or at least the range.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Welcome.
Prashanti, I would like to know how can he get evaluation done and where?
The employer will do that. So the employer will get the evaluation done. The employer should use again an attorney to do these kind of things, or because not every H1 is straightforward. So use an attorney, get an evaluation done. There are a lot of evaluation services in the US that do this kind of thing, and it's quite common, and they know what to do. So you can get from any. I don't want to name any evaluation services, but there are plenty available, and you can just Google them.
Okay. Can I ask another question, or we don't have much time? Oh, yeah.
So Ali, you also talked about. Okay. Go ahead with your question.
So my last question is, so as the team I work with, it's a very small startup actually, and we have been trying to build a couple of products, but they didn't work in before. We are still developing. So right now we don't have any revenue in our company, and we are like backed by a few investors. We don't have any active revenue.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Ali. It doesn't matter what the revenue is for a H1. What matters is whether they have a job for you or not, and whether they're able to document that they have a job for you. So those POs, those work orders, those are the things those client contracts, that's what will be important. Not how much revenue you actually, but what is your potential? What business you have presently, not what revenue you have.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
So Ali, where have you joined the session from?
Actually, I have been following you from last couple of weeks. I was like at the time of H1B when I applied, only your channel was giving updates, and so that's why I was following you.
Fantastic. Very good.
Amazing. So I hope you have subscribed to us on all the platforms: Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere, right?
Yeah, I have already.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ali, you also said that you're a blockchain developer, right?
Yeah, I am.
So I have a question for you before we move on to our next participant. So if you can answer me, why did the blockchain developer never get lost? A very easy question. Okay,
I
just try.
don't
You
know.
can give it a try. You don't know? See, because they always know how to navigate through the blogs. So easy. So
Yeah.
I'm very, I'm very bad at jokes, but I thought of creating one. But thank you so much for joining, Ali. Thank you. But
Okay,
thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for your question. And now it seems like Ravi has turned on his camera. So Ravi, it took you more than 10 minutes, I feel. You said it will take you 10 minutes, but it took you more than that. Welcome back again.
No, I need to attend my stand-up call, okay?
Okay. Okay, so
Okay.
now go ahead with your question.
Yeah, so good morning, team. So I'm on H1B and my I-140 is approved. And my spouse is on a STEM OPT. Our STEM OPT is going to expire in June, mid of June, okay? And last week, right? H1, this is the last chance. She was not picked up, okay? And my extension is due right now. Okay, so my question is, right, if we file my H1 and her H4, I mean, change of status from F1 to H4 and H4 EAD in a premium process, will they get all approved at one shot or any? I don't know. I this first time we are trying to apply, so.
So you're allowed to apply for the H1 and H4 at the same time, but that's a good question. If somebody is in a different status, other than the primary person status, is it different? Are they not allowed? You can still file together because there is a H4 application. You have a spouse, whatever status the spouse is in, and you are filing for an H1. So you're allowed to still file together. And if you're filing together, then the USCIS has indicated that they will process all the cases together. It doesn't have to be an extension. It can be a change of status application, or the person can be in a different application from you. So I think that's fine. So you can expect that your case will get processed. Your wife's case will get processed at the same time as your case. So it's important to file together.
So let's assume if I'm on premium, so the same clock will apply to her.
Yes, correct. Yeah, usually they have said, USCIS has indicated that they will premium process the H4s as well.
So there are no policy changes, right? Recently they increased the premium from.
There are no policy changes. In fact, the change has been to the positive note, which is allowing them to. They've again attached the H1 and H4 together, and they're processing them together. A few years ago, they used to do it, then they stopped doing it because fingerprints were required for I-539 applications. Then they removed the fingerprint requirements, and then they started doing it again. So we're still at that stage where they're still doing it.
So yeah, change of status and from F1 to H4 and H4 EAD. So all will be aggregated together, right? And I-129.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, Ravi. Thank you for your question. And are you happy with the answer? I'm sure you are, because it's the expert talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And loving your virtual background. It's twinning with your T-shirt.
Yeah.
So everyone, we also have our next attorney here, Chand Parvataneni. So Chand, welcome back. Welcome back, as in welcome to the show, because you are also continuously doing the shows with us. So that's why I said welcome back. So Chand, can we also have Chand on the screen, please? Okay, I don't know. Maybe this.
Hi, Rajni. I was on mute a minute back.
Okay.
Hello,
hi.
Rajni. Hey, Prashanti.
Hi, Chand. How are you?
Hello. Pretty good, Prashanti. Nice to see you.
Same here.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So, Chand, are you excited? Prashanti, I hope you're enjoying this session. I hope you're enjoying, taking all the questions and answering to these lovely audiences.
Yes, I am, and I'm enjoying your repertoires also. Your contribution also, Rajni. You're making it very lively, and I think it's a very interesting show.
Thank you so much, Prashanti. Thank you for saying that. So Chand is also here. So now, Prashanti, if we can, I think we can, have both of you on the show. No, we
okay.
can have both of you on the show. No,
Okay.
we can take the questions from the audiences and one by one, and we can ask to the attorneys. So I think the next audience the next viewer that we have is Piyush. So Piyush really wants to ask a question because he's been raising hand from some time. So if we can please have Piyush on the screen.
Hi. Hi, can you all see me?
Yes, we can, Piyush. Hi, how are you?
Doing well, Rajni. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you so much, Piyush. So Piyush, now
Prashanti, thank you. Thank you for your time. I just want to check that in my H1B lottery, my case still reflects in the submissions mode and submission status. So can you let me know what are the next steps and what are the, as in how does it go forward? It still shows as submitted.
Yes. So it looks like your case has not been. So let's hope that they have another lottery. And we will only know after June. So what they'll see is they'll look at how many people have filed the H1s, the people who got selected. They'll see how many have actually filed their H1s, and then they'll see if there are any more numbers available. The lottery again. So let's see if they do that again. If they do a lottery again, they'll do that from the people who already registered. So you will be put into that lottery again. And then you'll again get 90 days to file your H1. After the lottery is conducted. So just hold on, wait and watch, be patient. If not, then there's always next year.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your answer, Prashanti. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Rajni.
So Chand, I would like to now come to you. What do you think? What do you have to say? Do you have any suggestion for Piyush?
Sure. And again, as Prashanti has said, last year we saw a second lottery. The year before that, we did not see a second lottery. And last year, pretty much, I think everybody knew earlier on that many people were not filing because USCIS came out with an announcement last year in April. They said there was a lot of extensive fraud because of multiple registrations, and a lot of people backed out. So last year it was very clear that everybody was not going to file, and slots are going to stay open. So last year things were going towards the second lottery route, and the year before that we did not have a second lottery. We only had one lottery. And this year, at least looking at what things are in the last 1 week, last 1 month, at least in our law firm, at least all the people who have done the registrations, everybody seems to be interested in going ahead with the filings. Last year, it was a little different. Multiple registrations, all that nuisance. So there were a lot of people who got selected, but the companies did not really want to go ahead with the filings. This year, I think at least people are clear. Whoever got selected, there's no multiple registration issue. USC has luckily solved that problem. So I think whoever got selected, more than likely, I think companies are in a view to file for them. And also historically, what happens is we have 85,000 slots, and USCIS does not select only 85,000. They typically select 100, 110,000. They select a little bit more than what we have out there. And they understand that some people drop off, some people have other plans. So they don't just stop at 85,000. They always select a little bit more than 85,000. Last year in the first round, it was close to around 110,000. So what that means is USCIS already has some cushion because they understand some people will drop off, which is why the second lottery is not always guaranteed. And just like Prashanti said, there's no way of telling it right now. We have to wait until July to get a better answer. But my view is I will not be surprised this year if there is no second lottery.
I was trying to make him feel better, Chand. And here you go and say that there's no second lottery.
I mean, it's like the two attorneys are like, I mean, I'm feeling like as if, how parents behave. One is truly, blatant with us, and one is there who's tried to, make us feel better. But thank you so much, Prashanti, and thank you so much,
Chand said is absolutely, what he said is absolutely right. Chances of a second lottery seem dim, but you can always hope.
So one more quick question, Chand and Prashanti. Do we already know the number that has been cleared and picked so far in the first lottery?
Sorry?
Do we already know the number? How many have been picked so
No,
far?
not yet. Not yet. We haven't gotten, the number hasn't been released as yet. We're all speculating, and we're having bets among the attorneys as to, you know, what the numbers are. But yeah, it's all speculation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Piyush. So Piyush, where have you joined the stream from?
I have joined this from Zoom. I got a Zoom link.
Of course, I just wanted to know the location, as in the
Oh,
place.
location, Hyderabad, obviously, Hyderabad.
Oh,
Wow,
nice.
wow. So, well, it is very famous for, pearls. So next time you join this session, so I'll ask you to, get me some pearls, because you are getting these answers without, paying anything. So you'll have to send us a gift, or to the attorneys, they also love,
Or at least some
everyone loves
biryani.
pearls, right?
Maybe some biryani, Rajni.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good
Thank
luck.
you so much, Piyush. Thank you so much for your time and your question. Now, next we have Satish. So Satish is here. Satish has raised his hand and wants to ask a question. I think it's
Yeah, I am here,
absolutely.
Rajni.
Hi, Satish. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rajni. And thank you everyone who have asked the questions, because it is quite helpful for rest of the people who have different kind of queries. Everyone have their different cases. I have received a mail. My question is, like, I have received a mail that my name has been picked up in H1B. I'm just curious to check, like, if someone can tell me, like, how we can check the authenticity of that particular document, or like whether it should be coming from the attorney itself, or from the employer, or the consultancy. What would be the right case? I just want to know that.
Okay, so, Chand, I would like to come to you first, and then we can go to Prashanti also. Chand, what do you have to say?
Sure. So the 100% accurate way to know the answer for that is to log into the portal, the MyUCS portal, as an employer or as an attorney, because you have to log into the portal to find out the correct status. So what that means is you as a beneficiary, you don't really have a way of logging in and checking the status. That being said, the employer, what will happen is they will be able to download the notice. So the employer will have access to the portal, and there is something called a selection notice. They should be able to download the selection notice and send it over to you. And that is one way of confirming that your name is selected in the lottery, because that notice is something that is generated by USCIS, and they can't really tamper with those documents. So to me, the best way of a beneficiary knowing that your selection is genuine is to ask them for that notice. If you get that notice, you see that notice, the notice says that you're selected, and your case can be filed until June 30th. It's all there on the notice. That is the easiest way to ensure that your name did really get selected in the lottery.
Fine, thank you. I understood a little bit. There is a small barcode at the top somewhere where it has been written that it is coming from USIS, ICS, and there is a QR code at the left top, and there is a barcode somewhere in the bottom which is indicating towards the contact center, something like that, right? So it's a complete PDF which is saying, like, right from the 1st of April to 30th of June, it is you are eligible. It is clearly mentioning that this is the company, this is your date of birth, this is your name, you have been selected. All those things are there in the document. But see, I have been trying for this for like almost couple of years now, and all of a sudden, if these kind of things pops up, and you feel lucky about it, but still you don't get the feel out of it, that whether you have been selected or not. So just want to check whether it is a like a right thing or right document or not. That is what my question is, basically.
Satish, that's how dreams work, no? So we always try to achieve the dreams, and when we finally, achieve them, we don't, accept it, that whether have we achieved it or not, right? So you must be feeling the same thing. But we have this. So Piyush also had this question. So to Piyush also, I would like to say, and Satish, if you also can go ahead and check on YouTube. We have posted this video recently. I would like to tell you how to check your H1B lottery registration results for fiscal year 2025. 2025. So you can watch the whole video. And Piyush, if you're also watching this session right now, you can also go ahead and watch that video. It will be helpful to you as well. Yes. So Satish was saying something. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Because I have to give out this information. Yeah.
Fine, Rajni, it's perfectly fine. Like, it's a kind of conversation, and you have given great platform to everyone whosoever is interested in getting these things sorted out. So my basic intention was like to understand whether I have been selected or not. So I'll go to that link and I'll get it clarified whether it is right or wrong. And apart from that, when we say, just imagine like if I have been selected, so the next step is to file the petition, right? There is a tenure which I have just mentioned, and during the petition, that amount needs to be given upfront, or like what is the case? I want to just understand like the whole process after this selection mail or the PDF document which I have received. So just curious to check about the selection process or the going forward process for this, if they can help me
What
out.
happens next is yeah, sure. So what happens next is the company will have to do the H1B filing with USCIS. So that is the next step. So what has happened right now is just the selection. So the company has to pay USCIS the fees, the appropriate USCIS fees. It is very important to understand that you cannot pay any USCIS fees. The company cannot ask you to pay. If the company is asking you to pay, there is something wrong. The company is probably fraudulent. But the way the process works is the company works with you. They collect all your documents, your educational documents. They make you an offer. And then they present all your case, their company credentials back to USCIS. Once they do that, they will get a receipt number. That receipt number is something that you can track online. That can be tracked online, and you can check the status online. But what typically happens is they get all the petition ready. They submit it to USCIS. The deadline is June 30th. And they probably need to do it a lot before June 30th. Don't wait until the last minute. And once they do it, they pay the fees, they get a receipt. And the receipt is one way of checking what's going on, what is the status, and so on. And the two things will happen. Either USCIS is happy with the evidence, with the documents your company has provided, they will approve the case. Or they can issue a request for evidence and say, we are lacking some documents, provide us these documents, and then make a decision and then approve your case. So high level, the company has to file the petition. That is very, very critical. And the company has to make sure they do it before the deadline.
Fine, thank you so much. See, why I'm continuously emphasizing on the authenticity of that document, because I have,
So Satish, I'm again sorry to interrupt, but we have the video that I was talking about, how to check your H1B registration. We also have the actual copy of the notice. So you can go and watch the video, and also you can do the comparison, with your notice and the notice that you see there.
Fine, Rajni. Just last one question. Like,
yeah, please go.
If someone has applied from two consultancy or two organizations, one is saying okay, you have been selected, another is saying okay, I'm sorry, you have not been selected, but both the companies have given me the beneficiary ID. How it is possible in my case, or like whether it is true or not, or will the notification will go to all the consultancies if someone has applied for 4 companies or 2 companies or whatever the case is. So just want to know about that. Like,
at least this year, what should have happened is, if the 2 companies are completely independent, both the companies have bona fide job offers. That is the case, and they applied. If you get selected, even the other company should see the selection. So at least that is what I'm hearing, because it is based on your passport. So if your passport gets selected, whichever company has applied should see the selection. And if one company is saying they're not seeing the selection, that company more than likely did not file the case, did not register your case. That is probably my guess.
That is what I actually I'm anticipating at this moment of time. But they have given me the beneficiary ID, so it is creating a confusion in mind, because the beneficiary number is something like which is unique for an organization. If someone is actually filing, if one company is saying okay, you have not been selected, and they have not shared the actual beneficiary ID with me, then it is fine, they haven't filed it. But if someone is giving beneficiary ID and they are saying that you have not been selected, but another organization is saying, or another company is saying okay, you have been selected, and the document have been sent to me by their attorney, so that is the confusion. One is saying yes, one is saying no. So
Yeah, definitely look at the video Rajni is referring to. I looked at the video. The video has nice screenshots of how the genuine selection notices look like. So definitely take a look at the video and you'll be able to compare with what you have.
Right.
Thank you so much, Chand. And Prashanti, would you do you have any suggestion? Would you like to say something to Satish here?
I think it's been answered by Chand. I would be careful. I think it's so one of them is there's a mistake in one of the companies. One of them is lying, obviously. So maybe one of them didn't file the registration and the other one did. Or maybe the other one is, I wouldn't put it past anyone to produce a fake document. I've heard that that's rampant, that there is, in fact, a place in Hyderabad where they churn out these approvals, fake approvals, and they have, whatever. So I wouldn't put it past them to submit a fake document. So just verify that, look at that video. One of them obviously is lying, so just make sure that it's a correct document and that you have been selected. Most probably you have been. The chances are that you have been, but just verify that. That's all I have to say.
Right, Prashanti. Like yesterday evening only, I have checked like the document which has been uploaded in. I haven't seen Rajni's video, but in another video I have seen and I have matched that whatever the language or the things are there which has been given in that video is totally matching with my selection document. So from that front, I'm perfectly fine that it is matching everywhere, every sentence, every word, or in fact the whole layout of the document.
So if you're that concerned, go ask them to send you the screenshot from the portal where they got the approval. The name will be there. It will say approved, selected, I guess. Ask them to send you the screenshot from the portal with your name.
That is what I'm thinking of. Thank you, Prashanti. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rajni, for giving me this opportunity to talk about. I hope like it would be going great for everyone. They will be learning something new today.
Thank you so much, Satish. You have all the best to you and you have a great day ahead. And thank you so much for your question. And, Pani Kishore has asked us, how do I contact Mr. Chand and Ms. Prashanti? Can I get their email ID and mobile numbers? So, of course, you can. So to connect with Prashanti, you can give her a call at 212-354-1010. And you can also mail her at Prashanti, PRASHANTHI at readyesq.com. Prashanti at readyesq.com, and you can visit her website, which is readyesq.com. And also, if you want to connect with Chand, you can give him a call at 817-523-8247, or you can mail him at law@spblawfirm.com, or you could visit his website, spblawfirm.com. SPB as in S, that stands for a sunny, and then P for purple, B as in blue, L as in lavender, A as in apple, W as in a watch, and then firm.com. SPB law@spblawfirm.com. Well, also I would like to, you can also see it on the screen. I hope you have noted their contact details here. And now I would like to give this opportunity to, we have this viewer who's raising the hand, Nishant. Can we have Nishant on the screen, please? Nishant really wants to ask a question.
Hello.
Hi, Nishant. How are you?
Hey, Rajni, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good too. Thank you.
I had one
Please ask the
question, but I also have a follow-up question from Dilton. Like actually, Dilton was asking a question to Prashanti. Like he's going to lose his job. He has a plan to travel to India. So, Prashanti, I have a question for here because I have one of my friend who was traveling last September, and he was coming from Abu Dhabi, and at the port of entry, they were asking him to log in into his office ID and show if he's really working or not.
Right.
So how far can a CBP officer, I mean, what is that maximum extent they can do? Because they were asking him to log in into their office emails and to show that he's still actively working.
Yes, then so they can go to any extent. They can look into your cell phone, look into your social media, as long as you allow them to. And if you don't, then they might just say that, you know, you have something that you don't want us to look at, and therefore, you know, whatever. So it's a catch-22 situation. So my advice that I always give to people traveling is, please delete all your, or at least don't have all your social media accounts on your laptop. Don't carry a laptop if you don't have to. But if you have to, don't have it on your laptop and don't have it on your phone. And even your emails, don't have an email. I mean, I know it's drastic, but you would not believe the number of people. You know, it's only if you get into that situation that you realize that it's happening. Otherwise, for most people, it doesn't happen. There's so many people, as soon as they're taken into, you know, taken to the back room at CBP for additional questioning, that they look into their phones, they look into their laptop, they look into social media, they look into their emails. Oftentimes, there's the story where this person who was on a H1 came in, extension, everything was fine. He's been working for a few years. And they looked into his email information and they found out that while he was on an F1, there's some receipts for a gas station. So he was basically working for a gas station when he was on an F1 a few years ago. So that's the extent that they dig and look into, because they obviously have a quota. You know, they have to stop a few people. And once they stop that person, they invested in that person. They want to make sure they find something so that they have not, you know, wasted their time. So they dig into everything. They look into everything. So just, you know, it's absolutely what you're telling me is, you know, believable, and I'm not surprised. So that, you know, funny might be that unfortunate person who they, you know, call for additional questioning.
But luckily he was on a project, so he could log in into his cell phone
So
and
it's possible,
show some
but
email
again,
threads.
right. But as per regulation also, even if you're not presently on a project, even if you're on the bench, as I said, USCIS has given, has advised their officers that that has to be looked into on a case-by-case basis, to see if that person is, you know, invalid H1B status or not. So simply because you're on a bench, as long as you're being paid the prevailing wage, you should still be okay. You should still be able to file an extension, for example, because it could be that that bench period is only temporary, right? And that it depends on, of course, the type of business and how many projects they have, and if there is a likelihood that they will, you know, find you something quickly, or if you've never been on a project at all and you've always been on bench, then obviously there's an issue, right? But if it's just intermittent and if it's a one-time thing, then, you know, even a USCIS officer will, you know, look into it and, you know, most probably give a positive decision. So this is CBP. Of course, they can do whatever they want because they have, and it's not appealable if they don't allow you into the country, right? So that it's always possible that something like that will happen, and you will not be allowed into the country and you'll be barred for 10 years. That's also possible. So, you know, but that doesn't mean that we have to be fearful of everything that we do. Every time we travel, you know, you can be struck by lightning tomorrow, right? If you're crossing the street. So my whole thing is that as long as you are doing everything correctly, as long as you're following the law, as long as you have the documents to show it, I don't think you should worry.
Is there any link where you can share us where you said there's a slight leeway when we are on the bench, like maybe like once
Yeah,
in
I
every
can.
2 years, 3 years
Yes,
for a
I can.
period, a small period.
Right.
So at that time, if it's an
I'd have to
emergency or
find. I'd have to
traveling,
find it, but there was an FAQ, I think, which was from USCIS, which talked about bench period, and I'll share. I can share that with you.
okay, thank you. And actually, my main question was actually I was asking for the follow up for the Dilton question. So I have my cousin whose H1B was picked this year, and it was picked by his employer and also by the vendor. And because both were keep using the same project, but he's working for a client. So what would be what chances would he has to take it, like with filing with both, or just by the employer or just by his vendor?
So the problem here is duplicate registrations, right? The job offer is the same. Most probably, I mean, obviously, both the companies know each other. So there is a conspiracy to.
Because the employer have not mentioned, the employer has not asked his consent before filing putting him in the lottery. But he knows that his vendor is filing it, so that's the reason he has not spoken to his employer, or he never requested his employer to file an H1. But his employer also filed his H1 as he's an OPT and he's running the payroll.
Right, that could be a case of duplicate registration, because especially the job offer is the same for both. They're working at the same end client, and both companies have a connection with each other. So they, even if you file, you might get an RFE saying that there was an intent to collude to increase his chances in getting picked. So that, I think that might happen if he files for his.
Can I ask him to share the documents only to one, just the vendor, like ignoring his employer when he has to share his passport, other information?
Well, even if he files only through, one employer, he could still, this can still happen. Collusion, USCIS can still send an RFE saying that there was collusion. Even if it gets approved, after it gets approved, they can send a notice of intent to revoke saying collusion. So it really depends on his luck, whether that happens or not. Obviously, they can't go after everyone. And this can even happen at the consulate, and it can happen, at the port of entry. It can happen anywhere. So I would be a little wary about filing a H1. Again, that's up to him.
But how will USS know that the employer is also filing the same project, because they don't have anything yet, right? The employer is
they're digging deep into this, and they're seeing that if two employers are filing the same person, then what's happening there?
So will that be
they'll
a
send an
problem,
RFE, right? I mean,
because he has not given a consent to the employer.
Right, that's unfortunate.
He never requested his employer to ask.
That happened last year as well, where companies filed without the. I mean, I heard that they pretty much got tons of resumes and passport copies from recruiters, and they just filed without even contacting the beneficiary. And the beneficiary didn't know that the registration was filed for them. And there were multiple registrations, but they were still affected by that. And they did not file their H1 after that because they didn't want to be, get into trouble afterwards, because we don't know to what extent USCIS will enforce it. They have been enforcing it in some instances, and that scared people off. So.
In that case, is there anything you can help if my cousin can reach you that he never asked his employer to file, maybe taking an action against their employer?
Well, if there is an RFE, then an explanation has to be given to that extent as to what happened and how it happened, and then we have to see if USCIS will accept that explanation and approve the case. So it's difficult to say now. We'll have to do it at the time.
So there's no email chain where they sent him that we are filing your H1. Nothing.
Right.
But tomorrow,
so that could be
after his.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
So that could be a defense when there is an RFE saying that the employer filed without his consent.
Okay. So he should not have a problem. In the worst case of the USCIS puts him in a problem.
I wouldn't say he. Nishant, I wouldn't say he should not have a problem. I wouldn't take it that lightly. I would expect that there'll be a problem and try to find solutions even before filing.
Yeah, that's the reason. So maybe I'll ask him to reach maybe you or Chan, so that maybe you can guide him.
Sure.
What next he has to do it. Yeah. Thank you, Prashant.
Well, Prashanti has already given the answer, but Chan, do you have anything to say?
I was about to ask Chan.
Yeah.
Sure. I 100% agree with what Prashanti said. And I do think that there could be a potential issue. I mean, whatever she said is exactly was my view also. There's a good chance. And the thing is, it is not just with USCIS where you get an RFE and you get a chance. I had seen some people get questioned at the port of entry, at the CBP. And because of multiple registration, they said, okay, why are you having these registrations? Where are your offers? And I know of cases where people got sent back at the port of entry. Got questioned at the consulate. So it is not always where you might have the luxury of having an attorney represent you, because it is not USCIS. Sometimes it is CBP, sometimes it is the consulate. And clearly, I think Prashanti, like he said, it is one job where two employers are filing. There is only one bona fide job out there. So theoretically, there could be an issue. And the thing is, he's employed by that company. So the company is employing him, and they're trying to extend that employment. So again, I think definitely, I think I'll be wary. I think I'll be cautious. And again, only future will tell you if you'll have an issue.
Then is there anything my cousin can do so that he can get like that consent from the employer that they have done without his knowledge, something like that, so that whenever he's traveling in future,
I would
will that
document.
not bother him?
I would document this issue in the emails with the employer. At least document it, put it in the emails that he was never informed, and get the employer's response and see what it is. So that way, tomorrow you have it documented, because you might get stopped at the port of entry, questioned about this, or again at the consulate. Again, USCIS probably will not, USCIS or CBP or the DOS, they might not have the bandwidth to chase everybody, but you never know who's going to get questioned.
Yeah.
So from his perspective, if he knows that he has not done anything wrong, because clearly he has not even given any consent to this employer, at least document it in the emails, send an email, and get the response and see what is happening. So tomorrow he has some documentation. It's not just his word against the employer's word, but you have something documented, you have some evidence out there, and at least you can use that in the future.
Once we have the document, can we take an action before the US gets into this? So that can we take an action against that employer?
I mean, again, for now, I would document it as much as possible, whether it's in the emails, whether maybe making a complaint to USCIS. But again, document it. The thing is, you cannot make a false complaint with USCIS. If there is any evidence that he did give a consent to the employer, and tomorrow he says he did not, it's misrepresentation.
No,
So he has to be very
I'm sure he has not given his employer, because when he spoke to me, I said no, because this year lottery is a little different than last year. I said if one is filing, 10 are filing, it's the same thing. So if it's getting picked, so he said he never gave any consent to his employer.
Yeah, and that's why documented in the emails. But again, if the employer has some evidence that he did, he will have a problem. So just make sure it is documented in the emails. Keep it as much documented as possible, because tomorrow it is the documentation. It is not about his word against the employer's word, but what kind of documentation you have. Clearly, the employer should not have any documentation, because your cousin did not give any consent.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
So Nishant, I really wish to have a cousin like you who's so much concerned about the cousin more than himself. So I really wish to have a cousin like you in my life.
But he was about to join, but he had a call, so he said he cannot able to join. So I thought I'll.
But you are continuously asking so many questions on his behalf. So I mean, he must be really lucky to have you. So thank you so much, Nishant, for all your questions. And ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, time flies when you're having a blast, doesn't it? But it's time for me to bid you all goodbye. It's been an absolute pleasure guiding you through the first leg of our debate. But now it's time to hand over the reins to my esteemed colleague, Nipasa Pradhan. She is all set to step in and keep this party going. So, Nipasa, over to you.
Thank you so much, Rajni. That truly means a lot. I mean, you've been such a wonderful co-host, kicking off this whole event, and so much enthusiasm and energy. Thank you so much, Rajni. It's been very insightful, truly. Also to our esteemed guests, we couldn't do this better without you. So none other than Prashanti Reddy and Chand Parvathaneni. Thank you so much for making this a great one, a very informative one, and a very beneficial one to all our audience so far. So yes, I can actually see a lot of new people registering. So keep on watching, folks out there, whether on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you have joined us from. And don't forget to ask your questions in the comments. And if you have registered and joined this session, don't forget to raise your hands if you have anything to ask. So we'll be very happy to have you on board. Thank you so much for having me. I mean, Prashanti and Chand, how are you doing so far? I mean, I've been watching since the beginning. It's been so nice. What do you have to say?
Thanks.
Okay,
thanks for.
Prashanti, go ahead.
Sorry. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to let you all know that I'll be leaving now, and Chand will be taking over. Thank you so much for having me. It was great. It was a lot of fun, a lot of interesting questions, and thanks to the audience for being such good audience and asking such intelligent questions. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Prashanti. Have a great day ahead. I hope to see you soon again.
Same here. Bye.
Bye-bye. So Chand, thank you so much. So far, so good. And folks out there also so many questions. I'm sure you want to ask so many more. Let's keep those hands raising. Okay, I'm going to come to you for sure. But Chand, really want to speak with you. How have you been? We last met last week and spoke about the post lottery process. So what do you have to tell the audience out there who are going through this H1B post lottery process currently?
Sure. I think most of the folks out here who are looking very closely at the lottery process and the cap filings before April 1st, on March 31st, end of March 31st, everything was done. The selections are done. The selections are reported back to the employers. I think at this point of time, this entire week, we are seeing employers actively reach out to the beneficiaries, actively let them know that selections have been done. And not only that, a lot of employers also started the process of filing. And some employers always procrastinate, and some employers are always like on top of the game. So they start the process very early. And the very first step that every employer has to do is something called the LCA filing, labor condition application. So we have started getting requests for the labor condition applications, the LCAs, and employers are getting very busy in the process. So most of you who are selected out here, you can expect your employers to reach out to you, get the documents, and start off with the H1B process. So I think we'll take more questions and see what kind of questions everybody has on this process. Nipas, are you there? Nipas, did I lose you?
No, Chand,
Hello.
we are able to hear you.
I think I probably lost Nipasa.
Maybe
Hi
that's
everyone,
the case.
welcome
But
back.
the
I'm
only
again
thing,
here. Well, until Napasa joins, I think audiences were also missing me. That's why Nipa disconnected, but she'll be back soon. So I think we have so my team says, welcome back, Rajni. Thank you so much to my lovely team. Zaid is there on the back end, in the back end. He's taking the control of the whole stream and helping us. So thank you so much, Zaid. And now I can see Ijazul.
Back, Rajni, but thank you so
raising-
much, really.
Okay.
But you
All
can
right,
take that up. I mean,
again.
you can take that up, please.
No,
I'm here,
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
All right, folks. So I can see Ijazul Haq already raising the hand. So can we have Ijazul's question, please? Tell us where you're joining us from first.
Hi,
Hi,
Nipasha. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining. Where are you joining us from?
Yeah, I'm from Delhi based actually. My
Okay.
question is related to H1B result. I have been working as data analyst for past 3 years and applied for H1. So may I know how will I know I have been selected or not, or what are the overall process in H1B?
Okay, we already went over this, but
Yes.
I'm sure Chant would like to make it brief and answer. So
Yeah.
Chant, would you take that over, please?
Sure. I think the probably the only way is to contact your employer and find out from them if the selection is done for you or not. Pretty much you have to rely on your employer. You cannot check it by yourself. But again, to know if the information they're giving you is accurate or not, Rajni mentioned a few minutes back about the video. I saw the video. It's out there. Check her video. It is very good. It's a very good description of what to look for. How does the process work? How do you know you're selected or not? But again, at the end of the day, you're relying on your employer. Your employer is the one that has to confirm to you, because your employer is the one that has access to the portal, and you have to work with the employer. So the easiest thing is check with the employer and see what's going on.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ijazul, for that question. And folks, I would just like to mention that our guest, Uma Mantravadi, will not be joining us today. She's suddenly not feeling so great, but let's just keep this session going. And I hope that, Chand, you can stick with us a little while longer, maybe for another hour or so, because we have so
Sure.
many people raising hands. Yeah. So yes, the raising hand part.
Sure.
So folks, there is this feature in Zoom where you can raise your hand to ask a question. So wherever you have joined us from, whether on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, if you want to be on video to ask a question, please don't forget to register yourself and join this Zoom session with us. All right. Okay, moving ahead, let's go to Ashish Verma. He's asking a question, raising hand. Ashish, where have you joined us from, and what do you want to ask today to Chand?
Yeah, hi Napasa, how are you?
I'm doing good, Ashish. Thank you for joining.
I joined from Delhi and I have a question to you. Okay. Like if a person has a 6 years of H1B is done with no I-140, okay, can he or she get cap exempt and H1B after that if they don't go outside of USA once 6 years is done and but change on dependent visa?
Chand, what would you like to say to that?
So that theoretically the limit on H1B is 6 years. So once you cross 6 years, the only way to extend it is if you stay out of the country for one continuous year. You have to maintain residency one continuous year out of USA. That is one way. The other way is you have an I-140. And in your case, you mentioned that you don't have your I-140. If you don't have the I-140, but you do want to get on a H1B, the current rule says that you have to wait for 1 year. So you do have to maintain residency out of the country for 1 year. Staying in the country on H4, for example, as a dependent, you can stay. So as a dependent, you are good to stay in the country on H4. And luckily, if your spouse has the I-140, you might be able to get H4 EAD and work under H4 EAD. But if you do want to get H1, the rule says that you do have to wait out of the country 1 year. You have to spend 1 year continuous residence outside US, and only then you can get back onto H1B. The only alternative is your company should either do a perm application for you, or I-140 should be approved. Pretty much, unfortunately, that is the restriction that's out there for the H1B visa program.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Chand, for taking that. And Ashish, anything else you want to ask?
Nothing. Thanks for the great information.
Thank you, Ashish. Stay with us, please. And moving on, should we have Shikha Singh? Shikha Singh, if you unmute yourself.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from New Delhi.
Great to have you on board. So, what's your question to Chand?
So my question to Chand is that I'm applying for H1B 2025, and currently I am on STEM OPT. My passport is expiring in next 7 months. I just wanted to know, how does it work if my name gets selected into H1B and I have renewed my passport after submitting my initial application with the old passport number?
Sure. So in your case, it should not be a problem. So USCIS said that as long as your passport is valid on the day of filing, tomorrow if your passport changes, you will be able to provide a copy of the old passport and the new passport, and you should be able to get the H1B filed. Should not be a problem at all. Or because we have a deadline, the deadline is June. So before June, say for example, your company is still using your old passport because that is the active passport, and getting the H1B filing done. And after the H1B approval, say you get a new passport, that is completely okay. Just carry both the passports to your visa stamping and you should be fine. So there should not be any problem at all, as long as you have the old passport and the new passport copies.
So I should have the both passports all together with me for a seamless process, right?
Yes. And that should not be a problem, because it does happen that a lot of people have a passport in March when the registration was done. And after March, a lot of people will get their passports renewed because they're about to expire or expiring. So it happens every year. It is not a problem at all.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Chand. Thank you so much for taking up my question.
Thank you, Shikha, for asking. And also, let's move on. Folks, whatever you have to ask, don't forget to ask. And also, if you have questions directly to Chand and you don't want to ask here, we can even email him. You can mail him at law@spblawfirm.com, or call him in the number 817 523-8247. And let's move on to another viewer out there, a registered viewer, Vishal Deval. Could you unmute yourself, please, and ask Chand what you want to know today?
Yeah, hi, Nipasa.
Hi, Vishal. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you. So my question is like my current F1 visa is valid till May 24. So I had change of status from F1 to H1B on October 2023, and I wanted to understand that if I can go for visa appointment for like after June 2024, and like am I eligible for Dropbox?
Chand, please take it over.
So Vishal, I think I didn't get your question completely. So you are currently on F1, you're getting an H1B filing done for change of status. And your question is, after the H1B gets approved, do you get Dropbox or not? Did I understand that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So at least this year, at least currently what's happening is, if you have any kind of a US visa in the past, so in your case, you had a visa in the past, which is why you are in US. As long as you have any valid visa in the past, when you are going for H1B stamping, currently the rules say that you will be given Dropbox. So when you do your DS 160 and you say that you had a visa in the past, you will automatically be given the option of Dropbox. So you should get Dropbox, and more than likely your process should be seamless. That being said, not everybody that gets Dropbox is 100% guaranteed to have an interview waiver. What we are seeing is a small fraction of people who go for Dropbox, they are randomly getting selected for an interview. But in general, the usual process is you get a Dropbox, you get the initial shot at Dropbox. If they see that they need some more information, you might be called for an interview. If not, you get the waiver. Okay, but at least initially upfront, you get the Dropbox for sure. And the reason for that is you had a US visa in the past.
Okay. Thanks for the session.
Thank you, Vishal. And Chand, I mean, do you have any experiences as such you want to share, maybe case studies or anything?
Sure. I mean, again, we had Dropbox in 2023 and that got extended to 2024. And ever since Dropbox, things have been very smooth at the consulates, and things have become faster. And the majority of the people are getting approvals pretty easily. That being said, we do see some challenges occasionally. And what we are seeing is starting from last December, January, I do see an increase in 221Gs compared to what we saw in early 2023. And I think the reason for that is I think we are seeing a lot of layoffs in US in the last few months, especially in December and January. So I think the consulates started reacting to those and started giving more and more 221Gs. And again, in the last 1 month, what I'm seeing is looks like the layoffs have stopped. At least they have decreased. Market is picking up again here in US, and I think things are smooth. So again, I think what I'm seeing is the consulates are again causing less issues with stamping. So in general, the consulates will react to the market conditions, because if there is a lot of job loss in US, they tend to kind of do more scrutiny, because they're clearly seeing data that says that there are job losses happening in US. They want to make sure that everybody, whoever is getting a visa, they legitimately have a project and they're not sitting on the bench. So the scrutiny becomes a lot higher. And that being said, overall, even if people get a 221G, as long as the company is legitimate, as long as employee is qualified, even though it takes a few months, sometimes a month, sometimes two to 3 months, in majority of the cases, we do see the 221Gs cleared, because majority of the companies are genuine companies. They are going to pay the employees genuinely. And again, even the employees are qualified. So overall, even with Dropbox, sometimes we do see challenges where they get called for an interview, they get a 221G, the process gets slowed down. But my experience is, ever since the Dropbox started in India in 2023, things have become a lot smoother, and everybody that is eligible for Dropbox should take advantage of it. And the rule of thumb is, if somebody has a US visa in the past, that visa was never revoked or refused, more than likely they should be eligible for Dropbox. And the way they would know it is when they fill up their visa application on the DS 160. That is when they will know that they're eligible for Dropbox.
Makes sense a lot. And you were talking about layoffs and, about artificial intelligence taking over and so many people losing their jobs. I can only imagine. And do you want to say anything about it? Maybe you have new sort of jobs also with regard to
Sure.
artificial intelligence, AI.
Sure. And again, I think what has happened is after COVID, 2021, 2022, a lot of companies went on a hiring spree. So they hired a lot of employees. I don't think it is just because of AI. I think AI is a good buzzword, but I don't think anybody is losing jobs in US on a large scale because of AI. At least my opinion is there was a lot of hiring in 21, 22 right after COVID. And now I think a lot of companies are reacting to that and kind of streamlining their operations. I think it's a temporary thing. We've seen these kind of ups and downs in US economy a lot of times. I came to US in 2000. 2001, there was a big recession because of 9/11. It was an unfortunate thing during 9/11. A lot of people lost jobs. Very bad economy in 2001, 2002. Economy picked up, and until 2008, things were very smooth. 2008, we saw a recession in US. 2008, things were very bad. And again, 2019, 20, people thought things were slowing down, but we had COVID. So because of COVID, everything got reset. So we didn't really see a recession because the governments pumped in a lot of money. They gave in a lot of what they did is they printed a lot of money. So they gave it back to the economy as PPP and various ways in US. So a lot of companies got money because of PPP and all these other governmental programs after COVID, and that did help the economy because the companies were able to hire. But again, what happened is there's ups and downs. You cannot really avoid it in an economy. So what we're seeing right now is a slowdown, and it's going to pick up. So US, it's a very, very strong economy. You will have a weakness, but again, it is a temporary weakness. It's going to pick up. And again, what we're seeing is things are not as bad as they were in December and January. Hiring has started, and things are moving slowly back up again. And people don't really have to worry about a slowdown because a slowdown is always temporary, and things will pick up. And people are in this career for a long-term career. Somebody's coming to US to work as a software professional. They're looking for a long-term kind of a career. So this short-term variations, slowdown, it's not something what I think will impact in the long term. Short term, yes, it might kind of restrict their options. It might restrict them getting better offers. But long term, I think things are good. And technology is what is going to rule the world. And most of the guys that I work with, the H1B professionals, they're all into IT. And IT is what is going to take, all the jobs are going to be in IT. So I don't think people who are very well specialized in computers and IT, they have to worry. It's a short-term thing, and they just have to be ready for the slowdown. And then once the slowdown is over, they'll be having again a lot of good options.
True. And let's all stay hopeful, friends. And thank you. New registers joining in. Hello, folks. Thank you so much, all you lovely people, for joining in today. And before we dive further into the discussion about the H1B fiscal year 2025, I just wanted to remind you all quickly that, if you have any questions or thoughts that you want to share, maybe even experiences, please don't hesitate to raise the hand, which is a special feature here on Zoom. So we just want to hear from you and make this conversation even more interactive. So yeah, raise your hands, friends. And moving on, let's take up Shamaz Shafi. Could you unmute yourself? Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Nikas, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from New Delhi, and I have been here for a while. Since the beginning. So my question, compared to the rest, it's not.
I think you muted yourself again. Could you just unmute?
I think we're good now, yeah?
Repeat the question, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my question is, so my H1B petition, it has been approved this year. And if I'm not mistaken, it's valid till September 2025. Here's the issue. My employer, they're not willing to share the approved 797B copy with me. Now, my question is it possible to transfer the H1B petition to another employer just using the receipt number, or is it out of question?
Chand.
Sure. It's a good question, and I think it'll help a lot of people because what I see is a lot of companies, when they file the H1, sometimes when you're out of the country and they don't give you the H1B approval copy, and you cannot really wait for long. And US as a country, they encourage portability. So they don't want you to be locked to one employer. Because they know that you're talented. They don't want one company to kind of bind your talent. They want people to explore options. So you get a better option, a better employer. The way the current laws are designed are to encourage you to find better options. And what that means is you're not restricted to your one employer. You can transfer employers. So in your case, you have the receipt copy. So you know it's a valid receipt. You can check up the status online. You know you got an approval. What that means is another company can transfer you. Once you get an approval in the H1B lottery, you have a maximum of 6 years in general. So if you don't finish your 6 years, you can always transfer that H1 to another company. I always ask for a valid approval. The reason I ask for an approval is because when we do the transfers, because we want to make sure it's a legitimate approval. So if you have an approval, it makes things easy. If you don't have an approval, we have in the past used the receipt copy. We went online, we downloaded the copy that says the case is approved. We've been able to file petitions and we got an approval. Again, that being said, there's an easier way. If you have time, there is something called FOIA request. So you can go to USCIS and Google this FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. So you can create an account and you can request for your approval. This request will go to USCIS. And what USCIS does is they will release information about your file back to you. So you will be able to get a copy of your approval by contacting USCIS. Okay, this is through the FOIA request. And when you do this FOIA request, normally in about 3 to 5 weeks, you should be having that approval. So what I would encourage you to do is Google FOIA, go to the USCIS website, request for your approval, get a copy of your approval, and then just use that. And if you get a better employment option, you get an offer from some other employer. Obviously, that company can use that copy of your approval that you get in FOIA and transfer you. Okay, so it's pretty easy. So go ahead and do it after the show. And hopefully in a month, you'll have a copy of your approval.
That's really, thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamaz.
Thank you, Niprabha.
All right, so I can really see a lot of people joined in. So I'll just take up names and you can unmute yourself. Even if you don't have questions, let's just get to know each other, okay? Let's get to know Ramya Y. Where have you joined us from? Okay, first of all, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And really, it's such a pleasure to have you all. And let's make this one a little more interactive, okay? And what about Raja Shekhar Reddy? How are you doing? If you could unmute yourself, it would be great. Anyway, let's take up some questions first then. Abul Nasir is raising the hand. Let's take up Abul's question for Chand. Sorry, Abdul.
Hi, everyone.
Abdul, where have you joined us from?
Yeah, I am here. I have joined Maryland. So
Okay,
my question is,
what's your question?
unfortunately, I was not picked in my last attempt for H1B lottery. My current EAD is expiring on February 2025. I have master degree. So what visa option do I have going further?
So
Did you
currently,
get
what
that?
is your status? Yeah, your status is
OPT
currently
EAD.
F1, OPT EAD. When
No,
does
I
your
am
EAD expire?
vendor expert.
When does the EAD expire? Till what date do you have the EAD?
On February 2025.
2025. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, couple of options. So because your name did not get picked up in the lottery, you can stay in the country on a valid F1 visa. So currently, your F1 status is valid till 2025 February. So definitely, you can continue your F1 until then. After that, what happens is typically you have something called a grace period. So once your F1 status expires, there is a 60-day grace period, and you can stay in the country during that grace period. So next year, in March, if your case gets picked up within the 60-day grace period, if your H1B gets filed, you can stay back in the country. So one option right now for you is work on OPT EAD until February 2025. Hope that your name gets picked up in the lottery next year and you have a valid employer next year. If you do, and if they do file the H1 next year, right before your 60-day grace period is over, you can stay in the country. That is one option. The other option is you have to extend your F1 status. And what that means is you probably will have to enroll back in school, continue your studies, and that is another way to extend stay in US. Okay, so the way I see it is right now you are good to stay in the country because you have EAD. Down the line, again next year, you might have to look at the H1B again, or the other option is if at all there is a second lottery. We don't know. We'll know in July. In July, if there is a second lottery, that might give you another a chance at the lottery. So pretty much keep maintaining your F1 status is what I can advise you right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for great information.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Abdul. And let's move on. I can see Tej Ram. If you can unmute yourself, Viplav Parmar, Meena, Manjula, Rahul Kumar. Really nice to have you folks. If you can unmute yourself, if you have any questions, it'll be very nice to have you on board. We have Athotha Paul also joining us. Where have you joined us from, Athotha?
Yeah, I have joined from Hyderabad.
Sorry?
Hyderabad.
I don't know if it's me or you, but where are you joining us from?
He's from Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Okay, Hyderabad. I think it's mine. I don't know what is it, but yes, tell us please if you have any question. I can see you raise your hand.
Yeah, I'm employed on a cap exempt H1B and never gone through the lottery. Okay, can I work for a cap subject on a concurrent H1B?
So for a cap exempt employer, so probably working for a university or a school or a research university research organization. So what company are you working for as cap exempt? Yeah. What company are you working for as a cap exempt? Because cap exempt has to be for some kind of a university or a research organization, some kind of a not-for-profit kind of an organization. So you can continue to work on cap exempt for the cap exempt employer. But if you do want to work for a for-profit or regular employer, you do have to come through the cap. And if you come through the cap and you do get selected in the cap, at that point of time, you can work on concurrent H1. So you can work on the cap exempt employers H1. Concurrently, at the same time, you can also work on cap subject employers H1. But you do have to get selected in the cap to work for cap subjected employer.
Okay, I think we lost him, but I thank you for taking that up, Chand, really. Let's move ahead to Kampa. I can see raising the hand. Kampa, hi, where have you joined us from? Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you. I'm from Hyderabad.
All right, what is your question to Chand?
My question is, can you explain the time frame for H1B premium processing to cap employees? Like how much time it actually take, and if someone has applied for it while on F1, what is the process afterwards?
So the premium processing, if you do premium processing, they're going to take 15 days. So till last month, till March 31st, it was 15 days, regular 15 days. Starting this month from April 1st, they are saying it is going to take 15 business days. So business days are Monday to Friday. So pretty much 15 business days is about 3 weeks. So they're going to take 3 weeks to make a decision. And that could be either an approval or an RFE. So if you get an RFE, again, you have to, again, the clock will get reset. But in general, to make some kind of a decision, either an RFE or an approval, it's going to take you 15 business days if you do it as premium processing. Premium processing is going to cost $2,805. So it's an expensive process. So what we suggest is, if you really have a reason, go with the premium process. If there is no reason, don't go with the premium processing, because lately H1B processing has become very fast. Most of the cases, they are taking a decision in less than 3 months. So unless you really see a genuine need, there is no need to waste that money and go with premium processing. But everybody's case is different. So unless you really have a solid reason, don't really go for premium. But if you have a good reason, go with premium. They will make a decision in about 15 days.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chand. Then we can actually see Sudarshan already raising the hand a couple of times, actually. So sorry for being so late in coming to you. If you could unmute
No
yourself, where
problem.
are you joining us from?
I am joining from Virginia.
Oh, very nice. How are you doing there?
Okay. Good, good, good. How are you? A
Good,
nice
good.
show.
Please,
Lot of questions.
thank you.
Yeah, my question is
Thank
actually I'm asking on behalf of somebody who can join. The question I read exactly. I am an OPT while my sponsoring company searching for job. I am learning new technologies online remotely. It's been few months so far. Is it safe to be on OPT without job?
Sure. Again, it's a very relevant question because a lot of people are going through this scenario. The rule is when somebody is on OPT, they are supposed to work and get trained for at least 20 hours or more. So if somebody is out of a job, they potentially could be having a problem. There is some leeway, and the leeway is if somebody is in the first 1 year of OPT. In the first 1 year of OPT, they're allowed to have 90 unemployment days. So they can be unemployed for 3 months in the entire year. So up to 3 months, it is okay. USCIS is okay, even if they're unemployed. If they have more than 90 days of unemployment, there's a problem. And what that means is somebody's on who is on OPT, they have to be aware of these rules. 90 days is what they can be okay. Anything more than 90 days, they definitely have a problem. And on OPT, they also get STEM OPT. Most of the STEM OPT people, they apply for STEM OPT extension. They get an additional 2 years. So it is 1 year initial OPT plus 2 years additional STEM OPT extension. In the entire 3 years, the current rule says that they can be unemployed for 150 days. So 150 days, they're okay even if they're unemployed. If they cross 150 days, they have a problem. So what that basically means is, yes, some amount of unemployment is okay. Just don't cross the limit. The limit is 150 days overall and 90 days initial 1 year. So just ensure that your acquaintance is within these limits and he'll be fine. Anything more than that, just be cautious and they could run into an issue.
Okay, so if it is more than 90 days, then they need to be at least paid for at least 20 hours. Is that they need to running the payroll and pay them?
So basically, 90 days or more. The thing is, in the initial OPT, the initial OPT does not have to be a paid, work. Even if it is unpaid training, that's fine. Because a lot of times what happens is during the initial OPT, a lot of people are getting trained because the employers, because these guys are still fresh out of the college, they probably are not getting any work done out of them. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to train them. They're trying to teach them. So as long as they're training them and teaching them, and this OPT person, he's going through the training program for at least 20 hours or more, paid or unpaid is fine. Even if it is unpaid, that's okay. But the company has to document and see what they're training him with, what he's learning, and all those things. So if it is documented, the first 1 year of initial OPT, even if they're not paid, it is fine. But the person has to get trained. So the person has to really undergo the training program for 20 hours or more. If that is the case, it's fine. So for example, somebody is going through some Java training. The company is training them. The company is actually supervising them, making sure they do the training. Even if the employee does not get paid, that's okay. Only thing is document everything. Everything needs to be documented by the employer, by the employee, because tomorrow if there is a question about pay stubs, we have to go back and prove that they were trained with so-and-so technologies. It's unpaid training and so on. This leeway is only in the first year. Once the STEM OPT extension starts, the next 2 years, they don't have a choice. They have to get paid. So the initial 1 year is where they can have unpaid training.
Okay, just so is it the training can be like Udemy, maybe employer providing Udemy courses to them to learn from home or some online things, not really coming to office. Is that okay?
That is completely okay as long as the employer is supervising and making sure employee is getting trained on those programs. So if employer is assigning some training program, the employer is making sure the employee is going through the training program and actually getting trained and being supervised, then it is okay. On the employee side, he has to update his school. So the school in the service, they have to make sure the right employer, the right work location, it is reported back to the school. So the employee can get trained from home. That is okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So just document it. So employer and the employee both should document it what training it is. So as long as it is, if there is a query, then it should be okay.
Yeah, as long as it is legitimate training, there should not be an issue at all.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sudarshan. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great date there at Virginia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, stay with us. And we have many people out there raising hands. So I don't know which one to pick, but let's go with Neha Shetty. Hi, where are you joining us from today?
Hey, hi Nupasa, hi Chand. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Thank you so much for joining. Where are you from?
I am from Mumbai location.
Great, great. So what's your question to Chand today?
So yeah, I give me just one quick moment. I have logged in from myself, so my voice is like echoing. I am so sorry about that. Yeah.
No worries.
So yeah, I wanted to ask. Like, I have a couple of questions, and so this is the third time I have applied for H1B, but still haven't received any approval. So when this year's selection process would conclude? This is my first question. Can you
I
hear me?
think, Chand, do you want to take that up?
Sure. So the first stage, it concluded last week. So it concluded on March 31st. So March 31st, every employer got their selections they got their notifications in their portal. So the employer should be able to log into the portal and find out if you're selected or not. If you have a second lottery, we will know in July, but at least the first lottery is done, and it is complete. So as of last Sunday, everything is complete. And some employers probably are slow in getting all their data out, but it's out there, and employer should be able to log in and find out.
I see. Thank you for the information. So my bad luck though. Also, I wanted to know that how H1B is determined. I know it's a lottery system, but is it like the total number of years of experience you have, or the technology, or education qualification, or age for that matter? So, what is it like? How can I qualify to apply for H1B? Because I'm not getting all this information from my employer. So, yeah.
Sure. In terms of age, because I look at the profiles, I see people who are from like 21 years old, just fresh out of college. And sometimes I see people who are like 55, 56 years old. So I see like a wide range of ages. So ages fresh out of college, completely fresh out of college, just having a bachelor's degree, 21 years old. We see those filings. We also see like people who are like in the late stages of their careers, in the late 50s. I also see those filings. There is no age limit. So in terms of USCIS, they don't really care about the age. And there is one requirement, one very, very important requirement about the qualifications. What they want is, they simply want a bachelor's degree in the specific field. So if you are working as a civil engineer, they want a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. If you're working in computer related profession, they want to ensure that you have a degree in either information technology or computer science. That is their bottom line. So if you have a degree in computer science, you don't have to have any experience. You can even have 0 years of experience. They will approve the H1. We have a lot of those kind of cases. However, if you don't have a degree in the right field, say, for example, you have a degree in civil engineering, but you want to apply for a computer science job, IT profession, they're going to argue that, hey, your civil engineering degree is not related to your computer science job. That is when they require experience, because you don't have a degree in the right field. In those cases, what we typically see is, as long as you have a minimum of 3 years, so you have a degree in civil engineering, but you at least have 3 years or more of experience. In that case, what we do is, we go and get an evaluation done from a professor, and we use your work experience and education together to give you an equivalent degree in the field of computer science. So the bottom line is, if you have the degree in the right field, in exact required field, you don't even require any experience. But if not, if you don't have the right degree, then the more experience you have, the more better it is for you. And the minimum we normally look for is at least 3 years. Okay. So everything depends on the kind of degree. you have.
Okay, got it. So, just to end up my question, I have one single doubt. Like we know that it is also based on the place of your origin or place of your birth. So, do you have any number for like India? How many number of people from India or Asia? You know, they'll be picked up in the lottery. If I may know.
Sure, sure. So H1B is not about the country of birth at all. Everybody is
Okay.
treated the same. For green cards, you're right. So what happens is for green cards,
Mhm.
it is completely based on the country of birth. So for green cards, India has a very big disadvantage because there are a lot of people from India applying for green cards. So
That's true.
green cards, there is a restriction that says a country can be given only 7% of the quota. But when it comes to H1B, there is no limit. So everybody is treated the same. And what happens typically is there are more applications from India, which is why more people from India get selected. And the last statistics that I saw that was released couple of months back,
Okay.
almost 70% of H1Bs go to Indian nationals, people who are born in India with Indian passports. The reason for that is India, as you clearly know, there's a lot of IT talent out there, and out of all the countries out in the world, India is where most of the IT work is getting done nowadays. So it is just logical that there are more talented people in this field, in this profession, in this IT profession in India. Maybe for manufacturing, maybe it's China, but when it comes to IT, clearly India is kind of the leader right now because of the talent out there, and this is probably the reason why we see more applications from India, because that is where most of the talent pool is. And
Okay.
it is just natural that we are seeing majority of the applicants are from India, and I
Mhm.
probably will think at least 70% picked up even this year are probably from India, and maybe 25-30% from rest of the world.
That's wonderful. Well, that was quite informative. I just had a doubt about this thing. I wasn't aware of the H1B picked up irrespective of whatever place of origin you are. That
Yeah,
was
this is the
quite,
passport.
yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Jan. Thank you, Napasa.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Neha. Chand, would you like to maybe share a case study or something that's very interesting or something related to just what we spoke?
Sure. So again, in general, the rule says that you need to have a bachelor's degree in a very specific specialty. This is the common rule. But in India, what happens is we have 3-year degrees. We have BCom, BCA, BSc. We have 3-year degrees. And a lot of these guys, what happens is they got into IT world and they have been working in IT for a very, very long time. But they only have a 3-year degree. And the rule in US is that they need to have a 4-year degree in the right field, and those cases are always challenging for us, and I always get these cases where somebody has a very, very bad degree, like a 3-year degree. One time I had a person with a BA degree in English, but clearly that person is a very good software developer because that person has been working in software for almost 10 years. And so we have all these kind of profiles where people's educational background is not computers, not engineering, but they have been working in IT industry for such a long time. And a few of those cases, every year there are challenging cases. We get it. We know that there is going to be an RFE. There is an RFE. USCIS will complain. And what we do is we always go back to them and document all their work experiences. So we have them get all their work experience documents, their prior experience letters, and everything. And USCIS has a good policy. Their policy is if we go to a US professor, a professor who's in a US university, and if that professor looks at these work experience letters and gives a equivalency, because they can convert experience to education, and if the US professor does it, USCIS also will agree. So we have done that so many times in the past, and the professor will evaluate, and based on their experience he will give an expert opinion. We go back to USCIS and say yes, the degree, their actual educational degree is not relevant, but their experience when combined with their education is what makes them relevant. We fight back, and we get these cases approved all the time. So these are challenging cases, but again, in terms of people out there in India who are talented but don't have the right degrees in computer science or information technology, nothing to worry. If you really have a lot of work experience on your back, you can prove your credentials, you can get through, and we have done that a lot of times in the past.
Thank you, Chand. Thank you for sharing. And we actually have some more questions that people out there have posted. So I think we'll take up this one from Satish Punya, asking, Chand, can you please list out the red flags or a fraud company trying to cheat people?
Sure. So the way I see it is, if a company is asking you to pay for H1B, that should be the first flag. The government rule clearly says you cannot pay for H1B. So the minute any company says you have to pay for H1B, you know the company is like not the right company. A company cannot charge you for H1B. That is the place where you first start. And then for the other companies, what I always say is always do some background check. All you got to do is type in that company's name, Google, and you should be able to see how many H1s they have filed in the past. The LCA information, it is public information. It is out in the open. So you will be able to Google a company and find out how many H1Bs they filed in the past. If this company has not filed any H1Bs in the past, you have to be suspicious, because if the company doesn't have any history of filing H1Bs and it's a brand new company, if you do enough Googling, you'll be able to find out when this company was incorporated. If a company just got incorporated a few months back, nothing wrong with it. We always have companies that just got incorporated. They might be a legitimate company, but what it tells you is you probably need to do some more research, maybe need to get some more references. Okay. So the easiest way is go online, find out if this company has filed any H1Bs in the past, find out if this company has been in existence for a long time and not just opened up shop. And that will kind of give you an idea on whether it is good or not. And always try to have some references who have worked with that company. Always, it's always a good thing. But again, a simple Google search will tell you what kind of history this company has in filing H1s, what kind of history this company has in operating, and so on. And I always have companies who have just started, and I'm always suspicious. But that being said, again, you always will have to look at, because I have access to their documents. At least I can ask them what is the revenue and ensure it's at least a company that has revenue that is operating. But on your side, at least, Google is probably the easiest place to figure out if this company is in business, probably has some revenue, and those kind of things.
Absolutely. Do your research, do your background check, spend a day or two, maybe even more days, but do your research properly, friends. And only then after that, you take your step. All right. Moving on, I just have one more question from Sudarshan Reddy asked to Chand. What percentage of H1B got selected on average from the companies he works with? From the companies you work with, Chand? Yeah.
Sure. So we have a couple of thousands of registrations done on our side, and we are expecting to file around at least 1,500 plus H1Bs. Our volume is in thousands. In our law firm, we have a lot of attorneys, and so our data is pretty a large data set. So we have a lot of large data set, and what we are seeing is around 32%. So 32% is what was the selection rate. So that's probably 1 in every 3 probably got selected. That being said, we have a lot of cases who have a US master's degree. When you have a US master's degree, the selection rate is a little bit higher. A little bit, not too much, but a little bit higher. So based on our selection rate, what we think is definitely more than 300,000 applications probably were out in front of USCIS. So definitely there is still a lot of demand. This year, again, we did see the lottery oversubscribed. There is a lot of oversubscription. And so I talked to a lot of other attorneys, and most of them are kind of around 30%. So I think across the board, if you talk to anybody that has worked with a lot of a very large data set this year, they're probably going to stay closer to the 30% mark.
Great. Thank you. And last but not the least, we have Jaya Bhavani, who says that there's a case study that you would like to speak about. So, Jaya, you can unmute yourself.
Hi. Thank you so much
Hi, Jaya. How are
for
you
this
doing?
opportunity. Yeah, doing good. I hope everyone is doing great as well. So, quick thing, I just have a simple case study. So, let's say a person is working in a full-time company where they're not able to do the H1B this year because it's just been like 5 months. So that's the reason they're not able to make it. And the company itself said that you can use a consultancy kind of thing, the consultant kind of thing. You can put on H1B in that, and if it gets picked, we can do the transfer thing. So how does it work? Like, is it legitimate, or just a quick question, how does it work?
So again, there are a couple of things happening. So whichever company is filing for this person has to be a legitimate company, number one. So if that company has a valid offer and they are filing the H1B, that company is doing everything legally. So that it is clear for that company to go ahead and file the H1B.
Right, right.
And for the employee also, if the employee really wants to work with that company once that H1B is approved, that is when they should accept the offer. Because if you accept an offer knowing that you'll never work for that company, there is something wrong with it. So if you genuinely do want to work for that company, consultancy company, nothing wrong with it. Because this other company, the full-time company, sometime down the line, if they want to transfer, they can transfer. Not a problem. Okay. But the thing is, if there is, I mean, again, going into the process, if the view is, hey, I don't want to work for this consultancy company at all. The only reason I want them to file is to get this immigration benefit. But the minute I get that approval, I'll come back to this full-time company. If that is the view and somebody is going ahead, that is probably fraudulent. That being said, if the consultancy company has a legitimate and independent job offer, going ahead with that consultancy company, down the line, things don't work out, you want to come back to this other company, I don't see a problem. Okay. So it is again based on the intentions. The intentions are just to get that immigration benefit. I see that as fraud. If not, I don't see any problem that somebody is working for this company, another company is filing. And because down the line, the employee is always allowed to transfer. They get a better offer. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Just don't go into the process to circumvent the process. That is
Got it. I totally get it. Yeah. Yeah. So what if we have a job in the consultancy? Like we had an offer in the consultancy and it got picked up. And how does the transfer works? Like, do I need to again? I'm on F1 OPT right now. I'm on F1 OPT, and I got my OPTA card last year, and I started working for a company. And what if in a consultancy also I have a job, and coming up here? Yeah, please go ahead.
So the way it works is the company, when they're filing for your H1B from October 1st. So up to October 1st, if you want to work here, there is nothing wrong. So because the offer is after October 1st. So after October 1st, once the new H1B kicks in, if your intention is to work for that consultancy, then I don't see any problem at all. Okay. Because right now you don't have to transfer, because right now you're OPT. So right now you can continue your current job. But if they are filing, they're filing from October 1st or after October 1st. And as long as you do intend to work from October 1st at that company, consultancy company, there is nothing wrong.
Okay, got you. One last question. I'll just wrap up with this. So I'm on my F1 OPT status, right? So how do I apply for the STEM OPT extension? Like before when do I need to apply? Like my OPT card ends in July 20th of July 2024. So what would be the process?
So in your case, the good thing is, since you're saying it is your first year OPT, the good thing is you still have 2 more years. So what I would definitely suggest you to do is, so definitely go ahead and get your extension, the 765 extension filed at least by June. Don't wait until the last minute. So just do well ahead of time. And since you mentioned that you have 2 more years, you can also think about consular processing. So there is also this consular processing. You don't really have to do a change of status. So also talk to your attorney, whoever is filing your petition. Talk to them about consular processing, because if you do consular processing, you can take advantage of your STEM OPT. You can stay on STEM OPT for a longer period of time, and might be able to take advantage of the STEM OPT, because STEM OPT has a lot more flexibility, as you know.
Right.
So just think about consular processing. Definitely talk to the attorney who's filing your H1 about the consular processing, and it might be beneficial in your case.
Yeah, got it. I mean, I'm just telling, in a case of if I don't get any H1B or nothing is there, I'm on my F1 OPT and I would like to extend it for 2 more years. I think that's the
you can
STEM
do it.
OPT.
Yeah. You should not have any problem. Just do it before it expires, because there is a deadline, and the deadline is the expiration date of your current OPT. So just ensure that you do it well ahead of time. I would do at least a month ahead of time.
Right. Yeah, even I was planning like doing a couple of months back. So once after I applying for that, will my F1 OPT get deleted or like?
No. So again, once you apply for your STEM OPT, based on the receipt, you get 180-day automatic extension for your STEM OPT. That is one part. And if your H1B gets approved, what will happen is, if your H1B gets approved as change of status, you'll become H1B, and then your STEM OPT expires if it is change of status. If you do it as consular processing, there is no issue at all. So you can maintain your.
Okay, I totally get it. Yeah. Thank you so much. That'll be all. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Jaya. Where did you join us from, I wonder? Tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe.
Myself?
Yes, I mean, where have you joined us from right now? Where are you based?
Oh, so I just opened my YouTube and just looking at all the immigration process, and I found this live going on. So underneath that, I found a register and join. So that's how I just got registered, and this is very important. I just thought that, and so I joined it.
Thank you so much. It truly means a lot, truly appreciate it. I
Thank
hope
you
this was
so.
beneficial to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we have Govind Dash's question for Chand asking, is there any changes for 2025 round two? I was not selected for round one.
So round one, I think we are expecting things to be the adjudication process to be same as last year. Nothing really majorly changed, except that the fees has increased. So the fees this year is a lot higher than what it was last year. The fees has increased, and the filing process has changed a little bit, but the adjudication standards have not changed at all. So the adjudicating standards are still like last year. Round two, it's too early. We don't know at this point of time if we will have round two or not. July is when we will have a confirmed answer. But at this point of time, it's too early to talk about round two. And nothing is confirmed at this point of time. But again, down the line, next few months, I do think things might change. The H1B adjudication policies might change. This is an election year. There are also some proposals out there to change the process. So down the line, I think rules will change. But at least in the next 3-4 months, the regulations are still the same as last year. So the policies are still same as last year in terms of the H1B adjudication process.
All right, so let's still stay hopeful no matter what, friends. And Chand, thank you so much for doing this today as well. And I'm sure folks out there were greatly benefited from this discussion we had. So before we go, maybe if you could just leave them with an end note, it would be great.
Sure. So I think everybody that has got their selections updated by your employers, I think it's time to get started. What I mean by time to get started is there are a couple of things. H1B filing is about a 2-week process. LCA has to be filed. You have to submit your documents to your employer. Your employer has to do the filing. So get started very, very early. I know June is the deadline, but don't wait until June because anything can go wrong in June. There is April, there is May. You don't have to do things in April itself, but at least try to get things done by May. Waiting till June, it is too late. Okay, so I mean, again, yes, theoretically, June 30th is the deadline, but the more closer you get to the deadline, more things could go wrong. So we had cases where people filed the case, thought everything was good. After 15 days, USCIS came back and said the employer's check bounced. And now it is too late to recover. If you do it in May and the employer's check bounces, you can again do a refiling in the month of June. So a lot of things could go wrong in the month of June. So the big suggestion is work with your employers, get the process done at least by end of May, number one. Number two, definitely do your research on the employer you're filing with. We had a lot of problem with employers, our own clients, and sometimes majority of the employers are legitimate. It's not a problem, but it is those 1% or less than 1% of people, the employers, which are fraudulent and would cause problem to everybody, which was what we had last year, this whole multiple registration mess. Luckily, this year, USCIS solved that big issue. So this year, at least, I think the lottery is fair to everybody. Everybody got the same shot at the lottery. This year, things are different. Okay, so definitely do your research on your employer and the kind of offers you're taking. Anybody that didn't get picked up in the lottery, don't be disheartened. If you're in US, look at making ensure that you're in a valid status. If you're on F1, make sure you're on F1 and make sure you follow all the rules and regulations that require you of your visa status. Make sure you're extending your status to stay back in US if you're in US. If you're out of the country, at this point of time, I mean, let's wait and see till July. We will see what will happen with the second lottery and go from there. Okay, so at least the lottery process, I think it is getting smoother with the whole of that multiple registration mess being sorted out. And I think the final suggestion is for anybody in US, always be in compliance with all the rules and regulations. Don't get into trouble. And previously, I never saw any criminal law issues with any of the people I used to work with. Very, very rare that anybody who's an immigrant in US get into any trouble, because most of the times, I mean, always, at least people from India, they're highly educated because they're using a H1B to come into the country, which means pretty much everybody has a college degree, highly educated. So it is very rare that somebody gets into trouble with the law. But unfortunately, rarely in the last 1-2 years, we are seeing some minor issues, such as driving under drunk, getting caught. Because the minute somebody gets caught driving while driving under the influence, they're going to get arrested. Once they get arrested, there's a lot of mess. So be very careful with drunk driving in US, number one. And we're also seeing this shoplifting kind of incidents where people go into Walmart, uh, put some stuff, maybe $10, but again, it is stealing, get into trouble. So avoid any criminal law issues of any kind, and don't jeopardize your immigration status at all. And doing so, again, I think everybody is highly educated. Everybody that's joined in, everybody has to be educated, has a college degree. So definitely, I think you'll have a very good career. Sometimes working with the government is slow. It is painful because the way the government works, it is not very fast. They have a lot of slowness, which is why the process is very slow. But again, end of the day, rules are rules. Everybody has to follow the rules and comply with the law. So we just have to work with the law and get things done. And I wish everybody who's on here all the best in your careers, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Chance, for doing this, and on behalf of all the viewers as well, for all your best wishes and for the knowledge you've imparted today. Thank you so much. So here's only wishing you the very best also, Chand. Have a great April ahead and a happy Thursday ahead as well. Hoping to see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you
so
so much.
much.
And truly a big
Have a good
thank
day,
you
everybody.
to all our viewers also out there who stuck around, since the beginning or joined in and stayed with us. I hope this was a truly beneficial one to you, and your dedication to this discussion also is truly appreciated, your participation. And yeah, if you have joined us, I mean, don't forget to drop in your email addresses. Maybe we can get in touch with you with more. And if you have more questions, especially after you have joined, maybe after the debate ended, the live webinar ended, I hope that you still keep commenting your questions, because we will be happy to take them and attend to your questions for sure. And if you have to write to the attorney directly, also we have his email address, so you can always email him at law@spblawfirm.com, or you can just call Chand directly at 817-523-8247. You can even contact me directly. You can WhatsApp me in the number or call me in the number 408-335-6444, or just email me at nipa@higheritpeople.com. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining in. Of course, I would like to say thank you to Prashanthi Reddy as well for joining us earlier. And he's wishing Uma Mantravadia and our president, Dan Nandan, the very best also to get well soon. Hopefully, they come join us for another discussion as soon as possible. And friends out there, it's a wrap for today. But really, thank you so much to everyone out there, our incredible guests, and of course, you friends who have joined us for tuning in. So your participation and energy is what really makes these discussions a good one and an interesting one. So thank you. Until next time, you all stay curious, stay informed, and yes, keep on spreading those good vibes. This is Nibasa Pradhan signing off for now from Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. Have a great day.